Hi, I'm Yolanda Brown and you're watching MediaPlex News Now YouTube edition. A Diabetes Expo aims to guide those who are living with the disease. Hani Yassin brings us the story.
Despite April not being Diabetes Awareness Month, a Diabetes Expo and Trade Show was held at the Croatian Center on April 2nd by the Canadian Diabetes Association. Residents carry and seek information about the disease when entering, featuring a trade show and motivational speaker segments, cooking, and fitness demonstrations. The Expo aims to guide those who want a healthy lifestyle, according to event coordinator Katie Vader-Sylvester.
Well, the objective of the event is for healthy lifestyle choices. Whether you have diabetes, have pre-diabetes, or just want to learn more about healthy lifestyles, that's what this expo is all about. We have everything from keynote speakers to energize people and make them feel good about living with their disease, as well as cooking demonstrations for healthy cooking and taking those recipes home with you and using them in your home. As well, we want to educate the community about what the Canadian Diabetes Association does, that we are here in the community, and that we are here to serve our community in the best way possible.
One of the keynote speakers in the expo was Sean Shepard, who in part discussed his personal and motivational hardships with his disease and how people can contend to their own hardships.
First day, there's about 12 of us in this clinic, all recently diagnosed. I was the only one type 1, everybody else was type 2. And they said, okay, we're going to go around the table, stand up, introduce yourself, share whatever you're comfortable sharing. So I stand up and say my piece. And then I'm doodling, kind of doodling on the table. Not on the table, on the paper. And about 5 or 6 ladies into the group, she stands up and she says, I don't know why we're here, because we're going to go blind, lose our limbs, and die. And I'll never forget that, because I didn't look up. I kept doodling, and I still have this little piece of paper at home. I kept writing, not me, not me, not me, not me.
Various local and national organizations like Ottawa Street Dental, Value Village, and the Canadian Red Cross were present during the trade show to offer tips and options for diabetes aid and information. Therapeutic Surface Solutions were at the trade show promoting a new line of therapy that aids chronic diabetic foot ulcers. According to wound specialist Randy Paulson, it's used widely in the U.S. and was introduced in Canada a couple of years ago.
In the U.S., the reception is huge. It's used throughout the country. In Canada, it's really becoming very popular with the physicians for treating these wounds. Just a matter of time, though, we're working with the funding issue. Because it is a new therapy, we have to go through the proper channels for funding.
More than 250 people attended the event's 5th year. People entered free of charge and were also allowed to volunteer. For MediaPlex News Now, I'm Hani Yassin.
A seminar addressing emergency preparedness was held at St. Clair College, and Greg Moore has the details.
Area business leaders and emergency responders gathered at the St. Clair Center for the Arts April 5th for a seminar on emergency readiness. Experts in the field of emergency management addressed the crowd gathered at the downtown campus. Chuck Parsons, the Deputy Chief of Leamington Fire Services, discussed the lessons learned from last year's tornado.
I've embraced emergency planning, become an advocate for emergency planning, and now utilize emergency planning to see how well it works. And unfortunately, I got to see how it worked really well. On June 6th, 2010, many of you from the area know that we were hit with a tornado and subsequent downburst after the tornado that really affected our community. And we were prepared. I have to say, I was very proud of my community. I was very proud of my community control group on what was done in making us a resilient community.
Keynote speaker Dan Hefke is Commissioner of Community Safety for the province of Ontario.
It's all about public confidence. For me as a government official, I want to know, and I want for folks to know, that they have confidence in what we do to plan and prepare for disaster.
Commissioner Hefke gave a detailed presentation on how individuals and businesses can be better prepared for disasters. The presentation included a questionnaire on risk readiness.
for me, as Commissioner of Community Safety, I think it's really important that I get out and not only speak with folks about being better prepared, being more resilient in terms of their business, in terms of their communities, but also to hear from them as to what they see, how they can ready themselves for a disaster within their community, within their business, and some of their ideas on how they see themselves getting better prepared.
The County of Essex website has forms available to help businesses prepare for emergencies. For MediaPlex News Now, I'm Greg Moore.
In another edition of 5 Minutes With, James Tracy sits down with Windsor artist Shirley Williams.
Hi, I'm James Tracy. I'm here for 5 Minutes with Shirley Williams, a Windsor-based artist. So Shirley, how did you get into the art community?
Well, I kind of had a roundabout way of getting into the art business. As a child, I wanted to be an artist, and my parents really said, no, get a real career. So I got a business degree and owned a video production company in Toronto for about 8 years. And in '89, I decided that I really wanted to have a career in art. So I sold my business and moved to Windsor and bought a little building and started my career, and had sort of given myself 5 years. If I couldn't really create a career of any kind by 5 years, then I would go back to the video business, and I never went back.
So why do you work in Windsor as opposed to other cities?
Well, a lot of my clients are American and across Canada, and galleries sort of all over the place. So Windsor is a really nice central location for me. It's very easy to get across the border with my work. It's also easy to ship back and forth because there's a lot of shipping companies here. And the cost of living is lower than Toronto. Having a studio the size that I have in Toronto would be cost prohibitive. So Windsor just made a lot of sense.
So how is the local art scene in Windsor then?
Well, to be honest, I'm not really into the local art scene too much, other than a recent show here at the Art Gallery Windsor, and you know, just knowing a lot of people. But I think it's very vibrant. It's mostly connected, I think, to the University of Windsor, and there's some really good art that I see around.
You mentioned the recent art show here in Windsor. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yes, former curator of contemporary art, James Patton, invited me to have a solo show at the Art Gallery of Windsor. It just closed. It was on from November 26th to, I think it was, yeah, March 1st. And it was a new body of work that he asked me to create for this show. And it was based on, it was called Forces of Nature, based on the underlying forces that we're all being surrounded by in the world through you know, the media, the internet connections and networking and all of that kind of thing. But it was primarily paintings.
So what kind of themes do you typically have in your art?
I'm a process-oriented artist with a focus on color and nature forms. So what that means essentially is that I don't paint what I see, I paint what I feel, the vibrations in nature, the forms, the organic forms in nature. So my work is abstract, and it comes out of the process, and the process being working with and scientifically looking at color and the way that people respond to color. And so that whole genre is just, I guess, would be considered abstract expressionist, but most of it is focused on color and organic form.
So if you had to pick one of your favorite series that you did, which one would it be? Oh,
the recent one, of course. I mean, that's brand new work. Prior to that, I worked for about 10 years on a series called Colorscapes, and it was kind of abstract landscapes, very horizontal format. And each piece would kind of feel like like a landscape, but not really be that specific. And then for this Art Gallery Windsor show, they challenged me to really try a completely new direction. So the work is completely changed, far more organic, and kind of fills the canvas rather than being horizontally abstract landscape. So this whole series is very exciting to me, and I'm really enjoying that, you know, moving forward with it.
So what kind of shows do you have planned for the future?
Right now I don't. The Art Gallery Windsor took about 2 years and to create, And it was a long process, and I'm a little bit burnt out, and I'm just kind of going through all my work right now, sorting out what I have. I have a gallery in Vancouver that I just shipped some work out to, but I don't have a specific show. They're just they're selling it. There's also some work in Toronto and some work in Florida, but nothing in terms of a specific show at this point. I think I'm going to hold off for 6 months or so and just kind of regroup.
All right, well, thank you for coming with us, Shirley. I'm James Tracy, and you've just spent 5 minutes with Shirley Williams.
Great, thank you.
A film entertainment forum was held at the University of Windsor, and James Tracy brings us that story.
The University of Windsor held a film seminar on Saturday to discuss the importance of legal documentation in the filmmaking process. The film entertainment forum was held at the university's law building between 9 a.m. and 1 p.m. The event provided students and local filmmakers with knowledge about the legal and business issues in each step in the filmmaking process. Gavin Michael Booth is a local director who spoke at the event of some of the experiences he faced early in his career as a director. Booth has worked on projects ranged from full-length feature films to music videos with local and national bands.
A lot of people are volunteering, and Mitch spoke a lot about that today, about how important it is to volunteer in Windsor, especially in the last 5 years. There hasn't been as much film production, but when there is, if you can get in and volunteer, that's not only are you going to learn hands-on how to make films, you can also very cheaply have an education in watching other people fail at what they're doing and take ideas from them about how you can do your project more efficiently. But the networking is just built in. When you're on set working with 25 people, most of the people there have a short film script. This guy has a camera, and that girl's got a microphone, and this person's got a script. Well, every lunch break you start discussing these things, and I guarantee you, by the time you leave that project, you'll probably, if you network correctly, have another project set up or have people that will assist you in whatever project that you're trying to do. And that's what Windsor has been about without having the proper infrastructure and the proper crews. It's just people that are really passionate and driven to go out and make their productions.
The more specific topics in the presentation revolved around permits, copyright, contracts, financing, insurance, marketing, and distribution of independent films. Jeffrey Hewitt is a seasonal instructor at the University of Windsor Law School. He also was a producer, writer, and director for several television series. He has had first-hand experience on the legal process of television production. Hewitt spoke about the importance of copyrighting a script, about having a lawyer when negotiating a contract.
So if a producer has hired you to write a script, generally and paid you, generally that producer will have the copyright in the script. If they don't have it by virtue of the contract, they will want you to sign away your rights to that script.
The forum is planned to be an annual event for the university. I'm James Tracy for MediaPlex News Now.
Thank you for tuning in. I'm Yolanda Brown, and you've been watching MediaPlex News Now YouTube edition.